as I talked about, everything is about to change. Everything is about to be different. Um, the world is about to leap a giant leap, plain and simple. So, best way to explain it is to just go back and look. See, what we don't realize is how much technology has advanced since we was young because, you know, we grew up through it and it's just been normal to us. But if you don't go back and look, you're not going to see this and get it. So we can just use video games as an example, starting from Atari, 8-bit Nintendo, to Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Xbox, so on and so forth. I remember when Dreamcast came out, I mean, the graphics was crazy. And then you look at those graphics today and it's like, and times change, technology grows. And through the 90s, it's major boom in technology that changed so many things. But we were too busy, living our lives and struggling and going through what we was going through that we really didn't notice that so many jobs became obsolete. That the processing power of computers changed everything to where now, accountant jobs went out the window. So many different tax jobs went out the window. And if you remember before, you have H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, like the main two tax places. Used to be a lot of them. But now with them having the money to have computers to process taxes way faster than the smaller companies, they're on top. And a lot of these guys who do personal taxes now, if they're using the software, they can do them faster. But corporations have got rid of whole positions because of technology now and being able to bookkeep and so on and so forth way faster and process faster than, a human typing. So we had these major advances with technology with, social media now and, just our whole virtual reality is out, which we won't get into that. And so much stuff is new. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, which we all know everybody has been going crazy over these consoles, the new generation of consoles. But Facebook released Oculus Quest 2. Oculus came out before, which is virtual reality. And then Facebook is also working on augmented reality, which we'll get in touch on this in a little second. But this is the future. And now because of 5G and it being as powerful as it is, so many more things are going to be implemented into everything. Like I said, everything's going to change, as I was showing you guys in the previous video. But Oculus Quest 2 is virtual reality, gaming system where you're in a game. I mean, it looks so dope. If you haven't tried it out, you got to try it out. It's definitely cool. It feels like you in a game. It's a lot of funny videos out there with people falling over and tripping playing those games because, you get into it. But the major part about this is the augmented reality that Facebook is working on, which is basically VR. Virtual reality is VR. Then you have AR, which is augmented reality, where it's like Iron Man technology. So you basically can, bring up virtual screens that you can interact with in your actual space where you are. So technology is growing and changing. And what we got to realize is this quarantine thing, everything that's happening now is to prepare us for what's coming. So school systems, people work from home, everything is to prepare us for a future where we're going to have less, plain and simple, less human things, less human interactions than before. So the whole thing with Oculus Quest 2, which they have this whole new program out called Spatial. Now, Spatial is amazing. Spatial is going to be the groundbreaking for the new Facebook and the new social media. And right now the application is used to basically bring people together in VR and pre-designed virtual reality, environment that you come into and you can have meetings and lectures while you're home and you can actually interact with people. It's amazing. And for you to really get the idea, you got to take a look at this.
It used to be that if you really wanted to jam on an idea or get creative, you'd get in a room with someone, even to the extent that you'd take a flight to do that. With spatial, with AR and VR, we can put on a headset, and even if we're not in the same room as someone, we can feel like we are. From a simple 2D photo, you get a super realistic avatar. You can create these project rooms, kind of like a 3D version of Zoom meets Slack. Pull up all the kind of traditional content that you're used to, organize your thoughts. Spatial gives you like a visual, virtual way to bring all that together. Oculus is investing so heavily just across every layer of the stack, whether it's the development, the hardware, the outreach. They're loaning devices to companies who are VR curious, and I think they understand what kind of features developers want. Now we can enrich our app with hand tracking. I mean, I love the simplicity of just the headset in your hands. There's an opportunity with this new wave to like get in there early, put our humanistic ideals into the technology so that it can be creative and collaborative and bring us closer together.
So Facebook is now in the business of digital self or digital self-imaging, digital self-interactions. That's going to be the new Facebook. That is the feature that we're going to be headed towards. To imagine how we are on social media today, we're talking and we're interacting. But now when you look at, a program like this, like Spatial, to where you can be in a room. Somebody can design a room that we can all be in, and we can sit down in this virtual reality and you can actually see people and talk to people. Now the visuals on it is like, it's okay, but sooner or later, as we know, they're going to become much better. It's much more realistic, and the interaction is going to be much better. And what the AR, with the augmented reality whole thing, and take a look at the video going through the screen here, you can see, like, you can bring people into your home and into basically a digital space that has, that's not even a digital space, a real room that has digital aspects to where people are handing you stuff that's digital, and you can grab it with your digital hands and examine it. So it's going to change the way that we do a lot of stuff, presentations, you're just looking at new items. So imagine if you want to go shopping or look at a phone or something like that, you can go into augmented reality and have a one-on-one with a salesperson from your house that can basically show you a new item or something that you want to use. I mean, this is groundbreaking new shit. But again, it's your digital self, or your augmented, it's your human self with your digital hands, basically, looking at stuff. So with Iron Man, like, he had these digital screens, and basically right there in real life. And that technology is available today. If people don't understand, I had a conversation with somebody about Iron Man technology. It's a car. If you follow Supercar Blondie, it was a car she reviewed. I think it was a Lycan that had that technology where the console was basically like the Iron Man screen, that you can touch the screen. It's crazy. It's already available. But this is going to change the way we do stuff. Clearly, you can see the implications. So eventually, imagine how much states can save money by implementing this, augmented reality or, AR into a school system, to where your kids can be at home and put on these goggles and attend class, and there's a virtual teacher there. This saves states, millions of dollars having to maintain schools, having to maintain, buildings and so on and so forth. Same thing with corporations. So having a $300 million building, corporate headquarters won't be as necessary, as it was before, where now these buildings can be condos, apartments. And we're going to see this major conversion eventually into these huge apartment buildings, huge office buildings, I should say, into apartments. And it's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure they're going to test this technology in the rich schools first, because most likely the parents of these rich kids are going to be working for Fortune 500 companies or working in office settings, to where now, because of this new VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented reality, because of this, now a lot of those jobs, these corporate jobs that they have, they're not going to need. They'll be able to do from home. So you can be home and work and do your job, and your kid can be home and attend class, and you can be there with your kid while they attend a virtual class. So there's so many implications that's going to happen with this that is going to change the way we do stuff. But as I told you guys, a lot of this stuff is going to seem so dope, and it will be. It will be absolutely amazing when you start getting into it, which we'll touch on some in this video. And as I keep coming with videos, you'll see how huge the scope is for what they're trying to do, especially with augmented reality, because it gets deeper, because we didn't even get into implants, what Elon Musk was talking about. So where now, I mean, if you really think about it, imagine having that implant into your brain where you can see, like Google Glass. Think about that. Like, you can actually activate this image from your own eye, or have your own eye see an image that appears to be right in front of you, just like Google Glass. Or to have it, work in concert with Google Glass or some type of glasses, to where what you thinking, or what you predetermined to think, can be projected out in spatial reality, or augmented reality, I should say, for you to interact with. The implications of what they're trying to do, as I said, it's about to change everything, and there's so much more to it. The autonomous vehicles is huge. Stocks on it is growing quick, which we're going to get into that. I'm going to have a whole DVD coming on stocks. If you invest, you're going to want to see it, because I'll talk about this in a second. Just like people blew up during the 90s, it's going to happen again. But it's a different reason this time. But you got to look at everything that the implications for these new systems are going to have for our future. And this whole pandemic, and everybody, a whole year, shit is different. And people are adapting and getting used to it. And they're seeing now different ways of living life without interaction. You understand? So they're preparing us for this digital future. So now understand, all of this is going to be cloud-based technology. And that's the big thing. And they're going to say it needs to be cloud-based because of updates and so on and so forth. And that's, since it's augmented reality, a virtual reality, they're going to need to have access to the system at all times for updates and everything else. So again, this gears towards privacy and everything else. Whereas if you're a company and you're having a meeting, using spatial, how can that be protected when Facebook is recording all this information? You understand? And you're talking about a company who might have interests with another company, and might have information that will help one company over another. So the integrity of what's taking place is definitely going to be compromised, and you're going to have to trust, Facebook, and trust all these other companies with personal information when you use this stuff. Now, we as regular people, regular humans, we're too quick to jump on shit that's trending and fun. So we're not going to even see the Trojan horse when it comes. We're going to be too busy thinking about entertainment. And when it start happening and people start using, especially, spatial, and using this VR stuff to meet up socially, it's going to take off. And we're kind of pissed now, us older people, at the way things is, where kids are just in the house. Nobody goes out and play tag, or hide and go seek, or basketball and all that stuff like they used to. Kids are just in the house on their phones. And it's about to get worse with augmented reality and virtual reality at the level that it's at. We know virtual reality been out before, but now it's way better with Oculus Quest 2 and the games and everything else is actually pretty sick. But you're going to have this go down, and as I said, we're going to love it. And then this entertainment aspect will give rise to digital health, which with digital health, this whole thing is really about. And because by the time we figure it out, it's going to be too late. And we don't know what they're going to do to cause people to wake up and see what has happened. But it's going to be smooth. Shit going to seem normal until it's not. Policing is going to be much easier. It's going to be far less crime with them being able to track people. And then it's going to be if people don't understand they can track you, it's going to be, a lot easier. There's still going to be crime. But until people catch on the fact that they can track you, they're going to still commit crime. So NYPD, everybody probably seen this by now, was experimenting with this robot police dog. Now, throughout the years, we have been seeing them develop these robots. So a lot of videos and pictures out there with these robots and them developing them specifically for, tactical purposes, for military use. So this is what we're going to have to deal with. And and that's how they're going to be able to get away with this and why they can't get away with this, because it sounds like a fucking movie. It all sounds like a sci-fi movie. It sounds crazy. It sounds nuts, but it's happening right in front of our face. And the whole thing with this police dog that looks freaking creepy is showing you the direction that they are headed in. It's just that simple. So we have a lot to think about, and we have a small period of time that we have to be as free as we ever will be, because when they're done, that's the end of true freedom. So as I said, all of this will seem normal to us, after a while, after more generations are born, stuff will be the norm. The old generations will go, and the new concepts and new way of living will be, instilled within the next generation of people. And that's the way it has always been. Forget the past, because there's nobody around to talk about it. And as long as they're not talking about it, nobody's going to know. So much stuff that happened long ago that we have no idea about. Case in point, the video on the vaccinations that was taking place in America. Nobody knows that we've been through this whole coronavirus type situation before. We're en masse because it's something we're not really taught about. So that's how it's going to go. So as I said, everything's going to seem great. We're going to enjoy and love the new stuff. And as long as people is okay with giving up, freedoms in exchange for entertainment, then it won't be a big deal. But this stuff will seem like the norm. Some of you will even be born into this new future, unfortunately, and, things will go on. But they'll get their new world order. They'll get their, no borders, because that's what this whole thing is going to happen. Because once you get this tracking within everybody, the governments will begin to trust each other as far as tracking. And you can open the borders then. You can allow people to cross and fly in without passports and so on after a while. So, like I said, things seem much better, normal. Robots to take over a lot of jobs, computers to take over a lot of jobs. So it's going to have to be another way people are going to have to find to make money. And then with that being hard already, if they have this system this new money system where they're controlling everything, and they can just cut your money off, it's going to be tough, so it's like, if you don't have any skills geared towards what's coming as far as the future in robotics and programming and computers, it's going to be tough for you to do anything, when most of the labor jobs is going to probably be given to robots. But according to Elon Musk, eventually you'll have brain chips where you can upload programs. So they can upload job skills and things that you want to learn straight to the brain, just like in the Matrix. So we got to look for all this stuff, at the ground floor, because you got to remember, our parents was alive during this whole boom of the internet age. And, for the most part, our parents aren't multimillionaires. So you have to think about knowing what you know now, and just if you had any kind of insight back then, the kind of insight I'm giving you now, how rich you could have been in the early 90s, late 80s, if you would have just invested your money in Microsoft when it was like $7. IBM, Compaq, all those companies that blew up, Intel, all these companies that just blew up and just major multi-billion-dollar companies. If you would have just invested like, $1,000 back then, a few $100s, you will be a millionaire today, because these people understood what you're understanding now, and they got in on the ground floor and they took advantage. So you're going to be able to now, and like I said, I'm going to do a video on this. We're going to get into this whole thing. You're going to be able to now get into the ground floor in a lot of these companies with this groundbreaking technology that seems just like it seemed back then in the 80s and 90s. Like, okay, whatever, what they plan to do with these computers, no way that's going to be possible. It's possible. So getting in with these companies early is going to be the best move. So, 5, 10 years from now, you can retire.